Hello and welcome to my video. In this video I am explaining the progress made on the transmission while I'm waiting for some paint to dry. So in a previous video I had shown that the transmission for the Cadet 85 over here was having some problems. So it looked like there was a shift fork that was bent, perhaps, so I'm in the process of fixing this. The first thing that happened was, I believe, multiple gears were locked into place at once, and it sheared off the shaft. So I came over and took this apart, and I really just kind of crudely laid this out. So this was on the very end right here, and then next was a key that held it in, then the spring, then this gear and its key, and then this separator, this gear and this key, the spring, that gear and that key, and then the final piece that goes on before the brake, and that's the bushing, I believe. And then this is the brake. So the problem is right here. This is supposed to be the keyway right there. That little moon shape, if you can see it, is the keyway, and the metal below it is where that broke off. So now that I've gotten this, maybe it's easier to see that way. So now that I've gotten this apart, and I'm not going to ruin any of these pieces, which are hard to get. I've seen these brakes on eBay for like nothing, so I'm not too worried about taking that apart. And behind here is a locking clip, which I just don't feel like messing with taking that off further. I'm just kind of lazy, honestly. So next up is to clamp onto this, weld some extra metal, and then grind it back into a smooth shape, and make sure that I can get a keyway back in there. And if not, I'm just going to weld a sprocket on it. But these output shafts seem kind of hard to get, and for the price of getting all the parts, I could almost just buy another transmission. But then if I buy a transmission, then no one saved this one. And I'm kind of all about saving the original. Ooh, bug just jumped on me right here. Anyway, I'm worried about saving the original parts. So I'm going to start welding on this. And worst case, it's already ruined, right? But I'm not going to take this stuff with me. So maybe I can swap some gears out and just get my fourth gear to be, or third gear I should say, to be really tall. But I don't know, we'll see. In the meantime, I'm waiting on paint to dry over here. I painted the lower air box of the 85. I was going to paint the shroud, but I decided to wait. I didn't have enough paint. And I threw another couple coats onto the rear deck, which it looks better on camera than it is. I'm really not that great of a painter. I got a couple flaws that I'm going to drop another few coats on to fix. But if you look really close here, I've got a bit of bubbling. It's actually hidden by kind of how glossy it is. And the bubbling, honestly, if I back up, is mostly just like right here. And then I also kind of screwed up right here because I was trying to spray paint a bunch to get this weld, but I should have just been patient. And the rest of this looks pretty good. I've got a nice gloss, but again, I kind of screwed up here and right here. So I'm going to see what I can do to fix that. But everything else looks really good. It's still kind of in the tacky phase, but it's dry, so I can at least, you know, spin the pulleys and stuff. So we're good there. And then this guy. So I'm going to hit the end of this with a needle to open back up these grease ports, and then I'm going to grease them up. And I started actually painting both of these, but I wildly screwed up the airbox. On my second coat of paint, it puddled really bad. I'm not sure why I did it so bad, but I actually just started scraping it back off, but it's still kind of sticky. So I'm just going to re-strip this back to metal and try again. But no sense in hiding that from the camera. I'm just trying to be honest about restoring all these guys. So yeah, I painted the deck. I'd have to say that turned out pretty good. And I'd have to say that the airbox turned out okay on the bottom. But yeah, I really miffed the top up. So we're going to do that one again once I finish stripping it. I've got it just kind of drying here after I took off what I could take off. That's pretty much all I have right now. I'm just kind of bored. This is still wet and I can't really do much with it.